personas que acudan a México, Canadá, Estados Unidos, simplemente para sentir cómo es la Copa Mundial. Y millones de personas también viendo la Copa Mundial desde sus hogares. Esto es como si fueran 104 Super Bowls en un mes. Esa es la magnitud de este evento, damas y caballeros. Y hoy, por supuesto,
how's it going? Just watching the World Cup draw here. Hello. How are we? Nice to see everyone. Just here to watch the World Cup draw. Well, technically it has started now. Yes, what's going on? Yeah, technically it has started now, but it's just Infantino right now on the stage, just having a speech with everyone in front. I'm watching on Peacock. I'm in the US and I'm watching it on Peacock. I think you can watch it on. Yes, it is the official draw. I believe I haven't really been paying attention, but I think what's it called? The playoff teams they still need to play, don't they? So when they draw, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the playoff team. Yeah, I think you get what I mean. So those games still need to be played, I believe, but the rest, I believe. Can you type the chat on which side? Peacock. Who do you guys have winning the World Cup? Portugal, that would be something, wouldn't it? If Messi wins one, Ronaldo wins one, that would be interesting. That would be interesting. I would love to see that in a way. Yeah, also, it's a different country as well, so I would love to see that too. Who do I have winning the World Cup? South Korea. No, I'm kidding. I'd love to see England win it, obviously. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. France is still a strong contender. I would say Japan well before South Korea, just the way they're playing. I'd love to see the Netherlands go far as well, but the way Van Dijk's playing, I don't think that's going to change in the summer. Like for the summer, he's gonna have to make some serious change in terms of his performance. What team am I excited to watch in person? Honestly, I'd love to. I want to go to any game that's possible, right? I've got friends in Toronto, Vancouver, LA, Florida as well, so I can go to the games. I just need to get some tickets. I just don't, let's find out who's playing where, and then we'll try and get there. I'd love to see England play. I'd love to see South Korea play. But this is a 48, isn't it? 48 teams, isn't it? It's not 32 anymore, right? Am I right? I haven't really been paying attention to the World Cup. Neil, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Always just doing my best. So thank you so much for the support. Based in Kansas. Oh, wow. Maybe I'll have to go there. I don't understand why Kevin Hart's on the stage. Kevin Hart and Heidi Klum. Do you train bowlers individual online? Yes. Yeah, so if you check out my school platform, just putting the website there. If you go there, in fact, I'll show you. Let me share my screen quickly. Let's see. If I go to share my screen, the angle is bad. Yes, sorry. It's my first time. Okay, so this is my, what is it? My school platform. It looks like sort of like Facebook, but you can come to Classroom. If you come to fun, there's whole different like folders, right? So I go on video calls with the players, with all the clients. So for example, let's go to Kennedy. She's been on 6 meetings with me. Each call lasts about anywhere from like 30 minutes to, an hour. Again, let's go back. Fundamentals, if I come in here, how to dribble properly, how to scissor properly. Let's see, how to finish driven low. Some of these have been a something the viewers wanted to watch or the clients wanted to watch, or receiving, how to do the full turn, or I can come to high performance. Let's see, finishing, how to half volley. So all these things are available. We go on call each week as well. Yeah, let me just, shit. Yeah. How much do I charge? So if you want I didn't want this live streaming to be a kind of sales thing, but yeah, $40 a month. You get all the access to the training material, including the ebook that I wrote, and also what is it? We get on weekly calls as a group. And if you need one-on-ones, so if you're in season, if you need help with your performance or guidance in your game, that is 2 one-on-one calls per month. That's going to be $89. If you want a call a week, 4 calls a month, that's going to be $179 a month. Let's see. Robbie Williams. They just need to get going. I love all the stage and the singing and all that, but let's just get to the draw. Let's get to the main part. Try 'em in. Any questions in the meantime? Yeah, exactly. Just get on with it. Enough with the singings. Let's just, yeah. Seriously, right? Just one song. That's all we need. I bet he's gonna be singing about 3 to 5. I think we got second singer Nicole Scherzinger as well. So yeah, Angels, and then She's the One. 2 good songs. Powerful squad. Portugal surprisingly got a good squad, right? Portugal. Get Donald Trump off the stage. Why is he up there? Where is this anyway? Where are they doing the draw? It's got to be in the US, right? But with Neil, with Kennedy Center. Gotcha. Makes sense. Thank you. But with Kansas having the what is it? The US Training Center. I think that's going to be a good base for a lot of the teams. I don't think any teams coming to Denver necessarily, which is obviously where I'm based. I thought some of the teams might be coming here for elevations, just to have that. Oh, nice. Do you coach, or have you got kids playing there? Nice, lovely. What club or what university? Oh, nice. Lovely. I think so I work for Real Colorado, and then my age group, so I coach the 2014 girls, and we're going to ECNL next year because we play Europe. So we're in the same division as Kansas and Texas. We're in the Texas division, so we'll be traveling to Kansas quite a lot. Oh, nice. Girls or boys? Emmett, thank you so much. Girls, nice. Do you guys play Europe as well, or just 2014 as you should? Nice. Yeah, that's the thing in the US. I just don't get all the rush to go play 11-a-side. Sure, I'm in. It's what's the hurry? I don't get it. Just stay smaller side as much as you can. Nice. Yeah, those 9v9s are good. But then the thing is, like, some of the 9v9 fields are not necessarily equal size wherever you go, right? So some fields just look a little bit smaller as well. And and because the girls grow so quickly, and sometimes they just, in terms of the physical size, they size out. Sporting Development League, nice. How many teams do you have? Or how many teams do you coach? Oh, I love that. Oh, nice. I love that rule. Yeah, exactly. I remember growing up, we had this tournament where you play in thirds, in threes, and then the first one, what is it? The first one you play same nine aside, and then the second one team plays down a player, and then the third one, the other team, another team plays down a player. So it's a great way to. I thought it was a great way to expose the player or have them at least experience how to defend, how to counterattack. Yeah, exactly. So it's a really fun one to, tactically for them to really experience and adjust even at that age. It's a good twist. I agree. It's a good learning environment. Trying to go to Australia in upcoming year to sign pro contract there. Lovely. My friend played in the A League, and I actually used to live in Sydney as well. Used to go watch the Sydney FC play. Good little facility. Football is definitely growing up there, which is nice. Best of luck. Where are you based at the moment? Kirat. Great book and sessions by Andreas Schumacher. 2v1 concepts. Nice. Okay. What is the book called? Andreas Schumacher. 2v1 book. 2 versus 1. Strong decision makers on the pitch. Is that it? Sounds like it. Okay, I'm definitely getting this. Thanks for the recommendations. Love that. Always looking to learn. So when is the actual draw? 11 o'clock MST? Yes, so that one's actually signed. Let me show you. So I got this as a birthday gift. This is a certification slipping out. It's actually signed by Gerard himself, and then a certification there. Yeah. So I got that. I got a whole bunch of other shirts in my drawer. Nice, lovely. So I go to Anfield nearly every year and try and watch the games. And then when Gerard came to Galaxy, I used to live in Orange County at the time. I was living in Orange County at the time. So I went to go see him train, and Robbie Keane was on the team. And actually, this is a good story. My mate went to try out for Galaxy 2, and they wanted him to stay and train for about a month. And so they were training at the facility. It was a gym session. He goes in. He said he walks in through the door, and somebody just on the bike gave him a wink. So he was thinking, who are you, right? And turns out it was Nigel de Jong. Didn't recognize him. What an idiot, right? So that squad was pretty good to go watch training sessions, because I'm pretty sure I was going through either my C or B license at that time. And it was in Carson, which was where Galaxy was based. And one of the days during the course, we had the chance to go and watch them train. And Robbie Keane, he was just going through the hurdles, but he wasn't necessarily going over the hurdles, but he was right behind it, so he never had to quite raise his legs. But that was fun to watch. He would never lose the ball against them players. Just showed different class. And Gerard was the same thing, just pinging balls left and right. But yeah, got all their signatures on the shirts and different shirts. Let's see, 2v1 all around decision making. Yeah, 100%. So 1v1 is massively important. But as we know, 1v1s in the games are never truly 1v1s, right? There's always things going on influencing the way we approach our 1v1s. So that's why I love the 2v1s, where maybe the defenders kind of, second defenders trying to recover in the back. So you have to make decisions. So that's a good way to approach. I love those. Never been a huge fan of just straight 1v1s, because if I can make it 2v1, I would love to make that 2v1. I coached the girls 2014. So Real Colorado 2014 at the moment. Wow, that trophy just had Donald Trump's name on it. So that was good experience. And obviously we got the Colorado Rapids out here. Nice. Yeah, the GA is not necessarily a thing out here. Everyone plays ECNL. GA somehow isn't a thing. I know my friends who are coaching the girls teams in Chicago, because I used to live in Chicago just before Denver. They're doing GA, obviously. I would love it if we had like one centralized league with different divisions and just, make that national instead of GA, ECNL, just have one. But I don't think that's ever going to be a thing, right? Yeah. Even when I came to the US, even when I was learning about the college game, it was the same thing. The Big 10 or Big 12, whatever it's called, and the Summit League and all these names. And I was thinking, okay, well, maybe it's a name based on the region, and that wasn't the thing I heard. It's more like a centralized. It was more of a franchise. So you might have a team or a college in California. You might have a college in Nebraska and playing the same league just because that's the franchise or division they decide to go in. Why not do Western, Central, Southern, Eastern, or Midwest? Whoever wins that, play playoff format. Yeah, such saturation. It's some of the things I will just never understand. Exactly, coaching license as well. Yep, exactly. State Cup, that's what it used to be. Now it's not really what I played high school out here, which was obviously a terrible playing level, but that used to be like State Cup, National Cup. That used to be the thing, right? Same with ODP. Now it's just a name now. Nobody, like our teams didn't even participate in the State Cup. It's just not needed anymore. Making pro in the US compared to Europe. So a lot of times, at least the ones that I know that have gone pro out here, a lot of times you go through the draft after college. That is typically the way to do it. But if you can't get in the draft, or if you don't get drafted, you just need an agent, and a lot of the kids will go to USL 2 division, 2 route to go do it, or pick an agent and go out to, say, Iceland. What's another? Cyprus is another one. Malta is another one. They try and go out to Europe instead. Yeah, third and fourth team is going to yeah. It's just getting all silly, to be honest. Yeah, I agree. But I think another thing is, if you happen to go out to Europe, like Malta, Cyprus, because a lot of the coaches and the whoever's in charge of the organizations don't quite know, even the players, right? Don't quite know what the level is like out there. So once also that title of having played in Europe, once you have been out there playing for a season or two, and when you come back, I think you get a foot in the door just because of that experience out in Europe. And then when the reality hits, and you're not gonna make a good living out of playing, it's a good way to just be out there, experience the culture, learn a new language, meet new people, all these things. Maybe travel, see, go abroad and see different places. It's just a good way to get out and kind of, broaden your horizon a bit. Yeah, it's really good. And I think in a way I'm a little lucky, because I obviously come from a different country as well, maybe a few different countries. and to be able to tell different stories and the backgrounds and the culture, training ideas, and what the players then or there have gone through or still going through. All these ideas that I can share, the stories I can share, I think that's really cool. Oh wow. It's the same thing. What Alicia Russo, right? She played for North Carolina. Yeah, and then now, I mean, look at her, right? Same thing with is it Jack Harrison? Yeah, yeah, exactly. So many cool stories. I remember this one. My mate went to University of Chichester, so he was playing for his college then. And then one of the defenders, one of the centre backs for the college, he was gone for about 2 weeks. So when he came back, my mate was like, Where you been? We haven't seen you for 2 weeks." He goes, "Oh, I play for San Marino. Play for San Marino, so I had to defend Lewandowski over the weekend." Now that's a story. Imagine that. To be able to play for one of those small countries, and you actually have to play a qualifier, yeah, as you do on the weekend. And then same with one of my buddies who I was coaching with. He also went to, I think he had the eligibility to play for British Virgin Islands, so he played World Cup qualifiers against Jamaica, which is a story as well. Lots of good stories out there. I remember when I was having dinner with my dad, and I found a picture of him sharing the pennant with Mauricio Pochettino, because this was 1987 or 6, like under 20s World Cup in Portugal. My dad was the captain for Korea. It wasn't South and North at the time, so that was the first time ever they put the team together. That was the only time. They started to have a joint team. My dad was the captain, so there was a picture of him exchanging the pennant with Argentina, and the captain of Argentina at the time was Pochettino. So I had that picture, showed it to him. He goes, "Who's that?" I said, "That's Pochettino." He goes, "Who's that?" I was like, "Managing Spurs, managing Son." He goes, "Oh, he's done well then." How should the dribbling be trained, and is the cones useful? Absolutely, absolutely useful. Is anything you need to have? This is the way I approach and the way I believe, at least. With anything, you need to be able to practice in the easiest setting, right? So the cones don't move, and that's that's the reason some of the people will say, you shouldn't be doing it against cones, and you should come as instincts, but you can't have instincts if you don't have it in you, right? If you don't know what you're doing. So practice do practice with cones, against cones, so that way you have success. Once you start to have success, then you can start to have some variables in your training, right? That could be a moving defender, that could be a shadow defending, so that way you can look for exact cues to when to execute, and then from there it's just application. But as anything, it's just all deliberate practice and repetition. Wow, look at that thing, look at that trophy. Let's get to the point. Let's draw. Let's see. Who's going to win the World Cup? Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've done a live one well before, a while back. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely entertaining to watch. Definitely entertaining to watch. But in terms of live stream, I'd love to do some live streaming when it comes to the actual like premium prem games as well, because obviously I watch every weekend. I've thought about doing it, but I just wasn't sure what I could offer in watching the game live. It was, yeah, that final was so entertaining to watch. What is the best final ever? Whether it's Champions League, Championship playoff, World Cup final, Euro final. What is the best final that you have ever witnessed? For me, it is Istanbul, 2005. I was a 12-year-old boy. Yes, Liverpool Istanbul European final. You can't beat that, honestly. You can't beat that. You can't make that up. World Cup 22. That is up there as well. How about Leicester against Watford with Troy Deeney scoring that volley? Championship playoff final. 100%. Me too. Me too, Neil. And then I'm pretty sure the last time I cried was not even when my nan passed away. It was actually when Liverpool won 4-0 against Barcelona. Yeah. That 4-3 game. That was the last time I cried. Opinions on controversial 2002 South Korea World Cup run. I'm happy with it. I was there, so I was there on the ground on a lot of the games. That was wild. Yeah, I mean, looking back, absolutely, there were some biased calls, especially the game against Italy with a Turkish referee. Yeah, that's some of them were quite controversial. 100%. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, exactly, the Italy game. But I believe there was also another one. I think it might have been the game against where there was an offside goal. It might have been against Turkey as well for the third and fourth place. Elizondo, I think I still remember the referee's name. So yeah, there are a lot of wrong calls during that World Cup. Neil, I bet that presentation was a killer. I bet it was about like mental strength and all that, right? Just never backing down. When's the actual draw? So I'm just looking out to the side because that's where my screen is. Rodrigo, are you asking if what you're watching, like when you're watching me, is it live and legit, or are you talking about the draw? Because the draw might not be, but what you're watching is real. Try to do more of this, more of the Q&As and stuff. R9, in my opinion, if not his injuries, he would still be. 1000%. I mean, the fact that everyone still talks about R9 the way he's talked about at the moment, right? And also having grown watching him play. Also the ex-professionals talking about R9 being one of the best ever, or if not the best ever, striker at positional number 9. Yeah, without his injuries, exactly, he absolutely could have been much more. I mean, even when he played for AC Milan, he still put out numbers, right? Even at that weight with his knees. Futsal seems to be a good base for lots of great dribblers and strikers. 1000%. I think there's a good video on Erling Haaland playing futsal when he was about like 11, 12 in Norway, and missing a lot of shots, but still taking a lot of shots. But futsal is now absolutely growing, especially out here in Denver as well. There's a lot of futsal teams, but the problem is because futsal is such like tidy technical, right? That's why people love futsal. I love futsal for that reason as well. But when it comes to training futsal, when I'm watching the training sessions, it's all the tidy skills or like fancy, like fast feet, but that move like 6 inches to the left, 6 inches to the right, it's not going anywhere. So it's fast, but it's like just here. So what's the point, right? Teach them how to receive if you're gonna do that. On it's not to stay. Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love. Obviously, as a fan, I'd love to see him, get himself out of that situation. But also, like never ever having stepped a foot in that sort of environment. I don't know. I cannot form an opinion on whether he should be out, whether it's his fault. It's on him completely. Absolutely. If you're the manager, you're always going to take responsibility. But deep down, I'd love to know what is going on, right? Behind the scene. Obviously, my team's Liverpool, as you can kind of see, everything in the back. Esteban or Yamal? I would still go with Yamal, right? Esteban seems to be a really, really good player. But what happened to Endrick, right? What happened to Endrick? But I think there's a rumor that Xabi Alonso might be coming to Liverpool if Slot goes. Which young player am I looking forward to in the World Cup? Oh, that's a very good question. Who's out there? Who are we talking? Like Yamal? Yamal's obviously young. Musiala's out, isn't he? Who else is there? Esteban. Is he going to be starting in and out? Who knows, right? Who are some of the young players out there? Arda Güler? Turkey? Is Turkey in anyway? I don't know. Liverpool's defense is lacking and Salah hasn't been clinical. Yeah. Dutch players, I think they all need to step up a bit. Gravenberch has not been necessarily the same, right? Kakpo, the same. Ekitike looks really good though. Ekitike looks fantastic. Isak just needs to find his form. I think he's been unlucky to be stepping into a team without having been through a preseason with the team, and also the team that's not performing really well. Obviously, at the start, he wasn't fit. So when now he's fit, it's just at the wrong time, right? So it just hasn't been a good start for him because the environment around him wasn't really the best for him to succeed. At least that's my opinion. But lots of positives when I'm watching Szoboszlai. Lots of questions on that when he's playing right back. Bradley, when he was fit, I thought he looked pretty good. For me, the biggest one is Konate. What's going on there, right? And also when Jones, that goal Liverpool gave away against Eindhoven, the little through pass goes in against between Konate and Van Dijk. But Jones was playing right back in that second half. I think it was the third or the fourth goal. And, obviously after the game, he comes on the mic and talks about how upset he is and how disappointing and just, parts that he just cannot believe. But at the same time, if you watch that goal, he stopped running. So, no matter what the result is, when you got that shirt on, right, you never stop running. So for me to see that, I thought that was the most disappointing part for a player to just give up. Tea time. Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad I am helpful for your 12-year-old son. Thank you so much. That's all I'm trying to do, just to be helpful with my limited knowledge. Yeah, I think Ekitike should be starting as a number 9. Spanish players like David Silva, Pedro, Iniesta, how they play beautiful football like this, how they train to play like that. Part of it is cultural, right? Japan is very similar. I'm Korean, but Japan is a good example where they have set an idea. This is what we are going to be doing. This is the plan, 30-year plan. And let's bring in the people that are going to help us approach football in that direction. And look how they play now, how they're playing now. Look at the players they produce. It's very tidy, technical. It's all cultural right from the top. Now, every country wants to do the same, and Korea is the same thing. I've seen this podcast and the interviews of ex-Premier League players like Lee Young-pyo, who play for Spurs, Ji-sung Park, or Ki, play for Swansea, Sunderland, Newcastle, right? The biggest question was, why aren't we able to produce players that are Premier League level or Premier League ready? And they came to the conclusion that domestically we do not have. Oh my God, Jesus! $100. Thank you. Oh wow, I can't believe this. What do I even say to this? I've only seen streamers getting this little money. Jesus, Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You tell me what kind of video you'd love to watch next. I'll produce the next a few videos for you. But the conclusion was that domestically, we do not have good enough coaches to know what that level looks like, right? If I don't understand what it takes for a player to get to that level, I cannot take the player to get there, right? I can try and do my best to produce that pathway, but if I don't know what that looks like, I can't do it. I think this is, again, a little bit in a different direction, where this is why I say players, it's so important for a player to watch the game so they know what they should look like when they play, right? Endrick versus Uruguay, play a full match. I'd only want to. Yeah, Endrick, it's an interesting one. Is there anything that I can do, or anyway, I need to sign up so you can help my 5-year-old to train with you? If not, you were going to Japan. I'd rather stay in the US. Yeah, I'm only going to Korea for 2 weeks next week. Obviously, I'm based in Denver. Rodrigo, if you can send me an email, that would be amazing. So let me drop my email address here. Performance.com. Just send me an email there, Rodrigo, and then we'll get in touch and we'll sort something out together. Desiree Doué, yes, I believe Desiree Doué. Who's another one? I think there's another French player on that PSG team. Doué, and then is it Barcola? He's a good one as well. Barcola, yeah. We need scouts from Europe to come to US. I agree. So, here we go. The draws are going. Group B, Canada. Here we go, Mexico. US soccer pay to play, so our best athletes aren't getting opportunities. I also think we in the US over-index on the physical attributes, not enough on the skill and fitness. 1,000%. So culturally, I don't think pay to play is going to change, at least for a very, very long time. So let's just say we put that aside. That's not going to change, okay? But the physical attributes, not enough skill on, not enough emphasis on looking the skill and the finesse part, or even the mechanics, right? We simply focus so much on size and the strength and the speed in terms of that direct run, rather than, because soccer takes a lot of small changes in directions, and you're running backwards, sideways, forward, diagonal, changing direction every half a second. Not enough of those motor functions are looked at. And even when it comes to my club, hopefully no one from my club is watching this, but being, truthfully, they simply look at the physical attributes just a little too much. Whereas I've got some players that are technically good, and you look at them and you're just thinking, they got the good mechanics and good technical understandings and the mechanics to learn, right? Good generalized skill sets for them to improve really fast. But when we rely solely on the physical attributes, it can be, oh my God, they're taking a selfie. It's just stupid. It's just not the way to approach development, because we're not thinking about the long term. At least that's what I think. Obviously, as an athlete, we need a good physical foundations, a good base as an individual, as an athlete, but we don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where the player is going to be in about 2 or 3 years, right? Kids develop so fast. So for us to judge a player based on what they look like now, it's silly. I just feel like Asian players don't play that much physical as European to survive in the European leagues. I'm gonna be taking it, understanding that comment that way. I agree, and I think that's why if you look at Son, he worked heavily on that physical part of his game. And then if you look at the way the Japanese players are training now, they focus a lot on those strength and the force, right? They should be able to generate as a player. It's no longer just about the technique and tactics. There's so much more physical demand in the game, especially if you play as a winger, fullback, right? Exactly, they're changing. Yeah, it's absolutely getting more physical because they're learning, right? We're learning, and therefore, more teams in Europe are interested in these Asian players, right? Especially the Japanese and the Korean players, because culturally, I say we because I'm from there. Um, we focus heavily on the fundamentals, and if you tell us what to do, we'll do it 100 times until you tell us to stop. There's no complaints about it, right? It's slightly different in terms of um, the Western players or Western kids when they approach learning or being told what to do, what to train, how much to do. You can kind of talk back, you can ask questions, but in Korea, if you're training and the coach tells you what to do, that's just basically a God-given words. You gotta listen. You just gotta do that. There's no questions about it. So imagine with that, but the downside is that you don't get to have a bit of creativity because you're always living or training in that sort of that captivity, right? You're training inside that box. You're only told what to do, how to do, when to do. So you're not allowed to think outside the box and try new things because you don't want to get in trouble. So that's the downside of it. Um, but imagine if you with that sort of like cultural background of work ethos, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, not worrying about that boredom, you just do it. But also, if you can think about that creativity part, I think that's a very good way to build a player. And obviously, in Germany, they produce a lot of good players because Germans are very disciplined, prioritizing later, which is, the definition I like to use when it comes to discipline. But the Germans are very disciplined, and obviously they got really good coaching out there. My whole goal when I was about 23 was to get into this program called Hans Weisweiler. It's in Germany, coaching program. They take about 30 coaches, maybe a year or two, every year or two. And it's obviously only 30 coaches, so very difficult to get into. I think Roger Schmidt is also a graduate from an alumni from that program. Obviously, he was known for coaching or managing Leverkusen. What to do when I do a body feint and the defender hesitate? That's what you want. You want the defender to hesitate when you throw a body feint so he can go the other way. Enough with interviews. Let's get on with the draw. Come on. Yeah, when I watch Asian teams in World Cups and they have wingers trying to lob a pass inside the box when playing versus against tall defenders, that way they always clear it. I want them to play low inside more. Yeah, obviously at that level, because the players are able to execute technically, almost any way they want it, right? So it becomes a tactical game. So a lot of those things are a tactical demand from the team. And sometimes, yeah, they can be misexecutions. Sometimes it's just, again, players are the ones that are playing. So it can be players making a poor judgment or decisions, soccer decisions. But when we are watching the games, you should just kind of accept that the players are able to execute technically clean on what they want to achieve. So when they do certain things, it's just either that was a a tactical demand, or if it doesn't go well, it can be a simple misexecution. Or they see things that we don't see, right? That can be possible too. You know, I try and approach looking at the professional players. I try and say it's getting to that level is like folding a piece of paper. So let me see. It's just a card here, but if this is a paper, everyone can fold once, twice, 3 times, maybe 4 times, but getting to the 5th time, you know, that 5th fold becomes very, very difficult. Obviously, the ones that do it are the semi-pros or the lower divisions, and then the ones that fold another time are the ones that have done the near impossibles, that are playing 0.1% of this world, that have folded the paper 6 and 7 times, which seems to be nearly impossible. Root for Korea and Japan every World Cup. Well, I'm only allowed to root for Korea, so it's like supporting Everton and Liverpool. Yeah, history is pretty gnarly. Korea, Japan, China, we all hate each other. Yeah, it's not that good. Maybe I should have started this live a little later. They're just busy singing. I thought the draw had started. I'm wrong. So, who's going to win the World Cup? What do we think? Spain. I think that's a great shout. I agree. But okay, but who do you want to win? I think the biggest question is, with the US being one of the host nations, yeah, how far are we gonna go? That was my next question. How far will the US go? I think Portugal's got a good shout as well. Quarterfinal, you think, Anthony? I mean, I'd love to see the US do really well, but I think quarterfinal is a good progress at home. Yeah, I think so. Quarterfinal would be a really nice one, I think. Same with Mexico. I think, what was it? I think South Africa was the only team that didn't qualify to the didn't advance to the round of 16. Yeah, China is an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, they were, remember about 10, 15 years ago when China was paying so much money for all the coaches to come, and the same with the players. I used to get emails from China all the time. I'm sure a lot of them were scams, but you still see a lot of the Argentina coaches from Spain and different countries going to China to coach because the money's there. I mean, Marcelo Lippi went there, right? Even the managers, right? Cannavaro was managing there. Some of the Korean managers was managing there. But anyway, it's difficult. What I know is that it's difficult to change the culture. And when the country is that big, same with the US, I mean, we see our own difficulties, right? Day in, day out, with different type of decentralized, well, not centralized federations or leagues, right? Or even professional leagues, right? You got I mean, same with the women's league now, with the NWSL not paying enough money to keep the highest level players like Trinity Rodman. I think she might be going to Europe. Or another offer is, I think she's getting another offer from USL, right? But when we think of USL, we think of it as, especially from the men's perspective, we think of it as a second division, right? But the women's USL division is more of a, they're trying to make it a first division, trying to get past the NWSL by offering more money, right? That's where everything lies on. You know, you got to pay more money to make that bigger. Anyway, but the point is, it's hard to change the culture when the country is so big, and when it's not the priority. Yeah, they're so busy singing. I turned it off and I muted it. Yeah, it's hard to change the culture when it's not their priority. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Money cannot change the culture. It's like private coaching as well. No matter how much money you throw, I can't make a kid any better if he or she's got no interest. Marcos, thank you so much. Thank you for the support. Amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, I agree. Even at the development level. So obviously I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, I get paid to coach. I'm very grateful for that. Yeah, this whole thing has been Trump's propaganda. Yeah, it's pretty wild to watch. Yeah, I'm very grateful to be able to make a living wage out of coaching in the US, because obviously I know the reality in Europe, South America, in Asia is it's totally different. Coaches are needed to work 2 to 3 jobs, right, to make a living and still coach. So the another thing is, coaches are not in the US. The coaches are not incentivized to go and get their education, further education, because one, obviously, as it should, it costs money. So it's a good way to filter out serious to unserious coaches. But at the same time, because no matter what kind of coaching badges you have, a lot of times you get paid the same. So let's just imagine you get paid $1,000 a team that you're coaching a month. I have my B license, and this another coach might have, you know, the basic E license, right? Chances are we'll get paid the same, right? So if I am not intrinsically motivated to go and get my education to help the player, or better educate myself to help, you know, develop the players, you know, provide better education for the players, no one's incentivized to go do it, because it costs money, it costs time. So why go and do it, right? So again, back to the point I was making earlier, if we do not have good coaches, we cannot produce good players. So I think from the top, it needs to change a little bit. Either we have a lot more coaching education platforms available, or programs available, because the A license is hosted maybe once or twice a year. We maybe need to do more of that to produce. Also, when I was doing my C and the B license, I didn't necessarily learn much, if I'm being honest. I learned more from my peers when I was working, from my mentors and my peers. So, which means the coaching education could improve as well, right? And then I think, you know, based on the capitalistic ideas, I think we do need to pay our coaches more if they are higher licensed. Selfishly, I think. When did I start my coaching career? So age 16, 17, I knew I was not good a player, or I knew I was not going to make a living out of playing. That's what I'm trying to say. So I forgot. I just left it behind, that goal. But I knew I had a brain and the personality to go coach. So age 18, as soon as I turned an adult, I got my E license in SoCal, in Southern California. And then age 21, I got my B license. My three boys are starting a new club here in January. It's 1 hour away from where I live in Ohio. Do you think it's crazy to drive that far, 3 to 7 days a week for soccer? I just want to help them succeed. Listen, if it's worth it for you. If it's worth it, it's worth it. When I was playing, it's a totally different environment, obviously, but because there was no club soccer, it was all school soccer. If you want to play for a good team, you had to move. So I lived 2 hours away from home, living with the players, and you had some of the players that were coming from 4 hours away, 6 hours away from south of the country to come to the capital to come play for a better school. So, and we train 3 times a day, 6 days a week. On the day that we don't have a game or practice, I might go home, take the train by myself. Worth it. It's all I ever wanted, right? So I think when I would drive, a lot of families out here, they do the same thing. Again, that's for you to answer, I think. If it's worth it, it's worth it. Could I expand on how did that realization came to you that you're not going to be moving from Korea, training 3 times a day, good training quality, living, right, breathing football, to come to the US, training 2-3 times a week, 2-3 times a week, training quality not good, right? Again, coaches having limited knowledge, so right, didn't help me. So it kind of held me back. So I was watching a lot of the under 15s and 16s kind of at that time when I was 14, 15, 16 as well. And the games from Korea, England, and I started to notice maybe that was a skill set I had as well, to kind of like self analyze, objectively looking at it, right? So I knew I just wasn't good enough, or I knew I was going to fall behind at this rate. So it just didn't make any sense. There's bloody hair got under my nail bed. It's really painful. But anyway, did anyone here get the ticket to the game? Yeah, Anthony, I think you're spot on there. Yeah, joy. 1000%. And speaking of joy, I think another thing that gets mentioned quite a lot is burnout, right? Burnout is a huge one. And especially it's an idea that gets brought up by parents a lot, right? Not necessarily by a kid. It's fair to worry about the burnout, but you never ever hear a video gamer getting a burnout, because it's always rewarding, right? You get something out of it. It's fun. That grinding, right? You go in, try and kill that boss, but you fail time and time again, but you still do it, right? Because you enjoy that grind, because it's fun. That's all it is, right? You don't burnout. At least I think when your child gets a burnout, that means you're just not enjoying it anymore. It's not because of the burnout. It's not because of the load. Just not enjoying it anymore. Everyone's got different expectations and different reality. Some kids might enjoy that grind a little bit more. Yeah. Like you tell me to play a certain game for 6 hours. I can't do it. It's just not fun for me. But you tell me to coach 6 hours. Yeah. I'll do it. And I think obviously it's different child to child, but the sooner a person realizes, or how do I say this? The sooner we kind of prioritize later. And the more we can develop that mindset or that skill set to prioritize later, I think we can avoid burnout. And when you have success, it's fun. Sucking sucks, right? Being good at something is a lot more fun. So when you chances are you're gonna get a burnout when you no longer feel that success. So how do we drip feed that level of small success on the way to the big goal, so that way the burnout doesn't happen for the child, right? And that can be day in day out thing, right? It could be, hey, you've juggled, let's just say juggling, you've juggled 50 today, brilliant, right? Hey, you're doing it for not for you, or future you, of like tomorrow of you tomorrow. Oh, what am I trying to say? What am I saying? You're not doing it for you tomorrow or tomorrow's you. Yeah, this is somehow difficult to say. You're doing it for you. That's a year down the road, right? You're exactly where you should be, right? And this is why when I look back, I'm here exactly where I need to be, where I should be, because I didn't train enough, or I didn't put enough work into what I want to do, right? What I should have done. But now, age 32, it's starting to hit me, and I'm trying to work as much as I can to expedite, to make up for it. But again, I try and use my life experience to kind of dumb it down and simplify for kids to understand, because I think when it comes to coaching youth soccer, kids obviously speak the same English language, but the way they speak, their language is totally different to the way we hear, say, and listen or understand the tonality, the words, right? The vocabulary that we chooses to use. I think that's a skill set a lot of the coaches will need to, including myself, that we all need to work on. Again, I think especially in the US, Cami, if you're based in the US, you talked about that you still play casually, but 17-year-olds smoked you. I think again, it's because compared to, I'm not sure, obviously, I don't know how old you are, but let's just imagine you're in your 30s. Chances are, you're not in the US. Where are you based? And 31. Okay, where are you based? Okay. Yeah, maybe it's that the coaching and the playing environment that you went through compared to these 17-year-olds are totally different, right? In terms of the quality of the education, right? If we can get a better education in the same span of time, that's essentially buying the future. You're buying the future. You're bringing the future forward. You're buying the future at a discount. And I think this is why I used to be I used to be against private coaching. Like, what's the point? Just go out to the park and practice what you know. But then I eventually realized you don't know what you don't know. If you can hire somebody to bring your future forward through good education or good coaching, if you have the resources for it, absolutely you should do it. I think that's the way it is at the moment. Especially in the US, it's definitely a capitalistic market. So that's just the way it is. But in England as well, right? You see a lot of private coaching these days, and also in Germany and other Europe, right? European countries, and the same in Asia. It's just the way how things are moving. And we don't want to fall behind. Yeah. 46, and kids at age 12 playing like they're 15, 16, 1000%. I've got a kid who's he was 9 about 3 years, so he must be 12 now. Even at age 9, he played like he was 15, 16, and some kids just get it, right? And he played like 15, 16. Also, he spoke like a sailor too. But it was a Ukrainian kid in Chicago named Alex. He plays for Chicago Fire now, for the academy. But again, some kids just understand things really, really fast. It comes to them naturally. Like you tell me to study mathematics. Oh, no way. Some things I get, some things I don't get. Part of it is learning, right? Finding out who you are. Why are we seeing, is that Wayne Gretzky? I don't know. They say Aaron Judge. Just get on with the draw. Of course. Thank you so much for hopping on and joining me. I just want, let us watch the draw, right? I want to talk about the draw and talk about, like, you know, who can advance to the round of 16s and win the whole thing, right? But now we're talking about Shaquille O'Neal. Give me 1 second. I gotta get something quickly. Guys, do we need to do more of these in terms of maybe I can get on a live call to talk about some of the simple tactical understanding that maybe a player's age 8 to 12 should understand in terms of managing the distance between the lines or where to be when certain situations are where maybe I can talk about that with some graphics. Maybe I can go on some live calls during the game, like EPL games. I can talk about some of the tactical adjustments that the teams are making, or some of the traits or the tendencies that we see in the game during the halftime. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit as well. Obviously, I can't directly show, right, the game because that would be against the law. I think that might be fun, right? I think I just want to have a good opportunity to have a chat with the audience, provide a service where you go over trace video videos. I already do. Yep, I already do. So if you go to the lbperformance.com, I have about 96 clients now, all throughout the country and Canada, where we get on the call, go over the video calls, and we go over the coaching points or some of the technical adjustments or technical executions. So the call lasts about 45 minutes to an hour each game, depending on the load, obviously. But when you send me the video link, I'll watch it, make about 20 points, and then we get on the call. Then I talk about those points. And a lot of the players have been MLS Next to ECNL players, which have been good. But some of the 9 to 10-year-olds playing smaller formats have been finding it beneficial as well, from what I'm told, which is good. Such as then a lot of times I talk about the visual cues when certain things are happening. Take a look at you. What is happening here? What are your thought processes? I talk about what to think about in transition, before transition, worrying about the transition, some of the technical executions, etc. And then on top of that, we go on weekly webinars, and also there's also a whole bunch of videos on tutorials. So everything comes with. If you're in season, obviously it's December, so I know some players are not in season, but if you're in season, that can be really beneficial too. And then I do Q&As with different players, such as D1 college players or pros, different high-level coaches. So I actually know the manager of Serbia, Veljko Paunovic. I used to coach his son in Chicago. So he was coaching for Reading, Chicago Fire, Chivas in Mexico, and then he was just coaching for the Spanish team that just got promoted with Santi Cazorla. Oviedo, Real Oviedo. He was just managing there. Now he got the job at Serbia. I'm trying to see after the World Cup if he would be interested in getting on the call with us. Another one is former director of high performance of the U.S. Soccer, Rick Kost. He's now the director of high performance for Olympique Lyon in League One. So I want to try and see if he's willing to get on the call as well. We got some NWSL players that might be interesting coming on the call too. So all these things, I want to get on the live call here. So, yeah, part one. Here we go. Canada, Mexico, USA, Spain, Argentina, France, England. I really haven't been paying attention to the whole World Cup thing during the qualifications, but it's 48 teams, right? I know it's a silly question. I get it, but it's 48 teams, isn't it? It's not 32. Really? Okay, I gotta. Okay. What do we think about the 48 format? Do we prefer it more than 32? Do we like the expanded format? Yeah. But I guess the only downside is like who actually wants to go see I don't know, like Cape Verde. Does it dilute the level of competition? That's the biggest question, I think, right? With the expanded one. Yeah. I do love a good underdog as well. But I think 48, I don't know. It's a lot. Hmm. Germany, Group E. Netherlands, Group F. Belgium, Group G. All right, so which country? Where are we all from? Where are we all from? Because I want to talk about which country that you're in, or the group that you're in. Obviously, we got the US, we got France for safe rule, we got France. What else? Which other countries do you have right now? Where are you from? Which country do you support? Argentina, Group I. Let's see, group. Oh, Argentina is going to Group J because they're going to be separated from Spain. Group I, Part 1, France. Portugal, Group K, I think. England, Part L. Sorry, part 1, Group L. I don't know why mine's in Spanish in Peacock, on Peacock. Is there a way to watch English? You're from Lithuania, support Korea, Japan, then England, maybe Spain, Portugal. Lithuania is a place I'd love to go. I'd love to go like hike there, Lithuania. Korea, Japan, lovely. England. Who's your favorite player of all time? R9, Zidane, yes. Zidane was definitely my favorite. Yeah, that was good one too. That Rooney, Tevez, Zidane, obviously Jason Park in the midfield. Yeah, that Barcelona, that period of time was absolutely insane. The Bon Appetit header, the good headbutt. Is Modric still playing for Croatia, or has he retired internationally? Yes, one of my favorite techniques, the roulette. We call it, yeah, the volley against Leverkusen in final 2002. The left foot volley. Great technique. This draw takes ages, eh? Senegal. Mitoma is a fantastic one to watch. Love the way he moves. Really good mechanics. Very simple, right? Korea, part 2. Are we part 2? I suppose it's because of the 48 teams, huh? Yeah, the pace change, very clean, right? The mechanic, the efficiency. That's what I would say about him. Really efficient. Yeah, these pot 2 teams are very strong. Australia as well. Wow, I didn't know they were pot 2. The Roos. I watched them play against the USA when they were in Denver. They looked all right. Here we go, pot 2. So if I'm as a Korean, I would just love to avoid. There's a lot of groups to avoid, but I would rather get into Group B, B and D, Canada, USA. All right, Korea, here we go. Where are we gonna go? Where are we gonna go? Group A. That's not bad. That is not bad. Mexico. I'll take that. That is pretty good. Yeah, the Shaq. That ball's tiny for him. I'll take that. Group A against Mexico. That is good. I agree about Germany. The thing is, if you look at the history, the countries that have won the World Cup, the next World Cup, they've always struggled. Canada, Switzerland, that's pretty nice group. You'd love to get in there. Yeah, yeah. Morocco. Again, dark horse, right? Underdog. Where are they going? I've got so many Mexican friends. This is gonna be a fun one. Let's see who's going to the US. Australia. That's not bad, is it? That's pretty good. I mean, they already played against each other, right? They know what it's like. That's a good draw for the US. Also for the Australia as well. That's a good draw. That is a good draw. That's a good start. Are we happy with that? Yeah, give me the handball. Germany. Who's going? Colombia or Japan? Are Japan gonna get Ecuador? I would say Germany would be happy with that. I'm not sure if you're Ivorian, you'd be happy with Germany, but I think if anything, out of all the European groups, you would want to get into the Belgian G group, wouldn't you? Belgium seems to struggle at the moment. No, that's pretty good. Japan, Netherlands. That's a good draw. That's interesting. A very good draw. That's gonna be a fun one to watch. Technical, tactical, counter-attacking football, pacey. Draws have been good so far. The rest of it, Senegal, you think? Iran. Wow. I would say Belgium would be relieved with that draw. They probably want to avoid Colombia, right? I think Colombia and Senegal are the ones that you would want to avoid. Wow. Wow. That's gonna be a good game. That's gonna be a good game. It's a closing game as well, so that's gonna be very important unless one of the two teams sweeps the group beforehand. Wow. Woohoo. That's the first game as well, isn't it? France Senegal, first game of the group. Wow. That's a huge one. Obviously, as you guys know, you want to start with the win when you're only playing 3 games that France Senegal game. That's gonna be a tough one. Austria, Argentina, Senegal is good. My favorite player of all time, Steven Gerrard. We're gonna see Colombia, Portugal. Yeah. Wow. Wow. That group H to L look really interesting. Whereas A to F look about, right now, they look pretty good. I think all teams would be happy if you're between A to, what is it, like first 5 or 6 groups, A to F. I think they would all be all right with that, all be happy with it. But if you're G to L, oh, are we? So, just looking at this, what is the group of death? Let's familiar with the pots now. Who are the biggest threats in pot 3? I don't know. I really haven't been paying attention this year. Let's find out. I think, yeah. Norway. Oh, again, when it comes to tournaments, when you have a good number 9, you don't know what you're gonna get, right? I know nothing about Panama. I know Morocco is good. Yeah, absolutely. Egypt. Musala might be, saving his energy for the next 6 months. Algeria. Okay. Scotland. I'd love to go to a Scotland game. Paraguay. Couple of Brighton players there. Yeah, with the Brazil squad, it's hard to tell, isn't it? Obviously, we'll see if Ancelotti's got something changed the next 6 months. Ivory Coast, that's an interesting one. Yeah, I agree, Anthony. Uzbekistan, wow, that's Uzbekistan. That's their first time ever as well, isn't it? Qatar. Yeah, when you have good number 9 or players like Salah in Holland, when it comes to tournaments where one goal might be it, you always have a chance. I think that's why these tournaments are so interesting. Did Wales make it? Or are they in the playoff? Or is the playoff finished? Again, I just really haven't been paying attention to any of the playoffs. Yeah, we'll find out. Because I was wondering if they're gonna if that's not finished, They would just do, playoff winner, Group A or something, right? Yeah. I mean, do you remember when Saudi, like 20 odd years ago, when Saudi always used to be those like dark horses, and they just come out of nowhere and just kill teams. You just don't know about them. Qatar might be the same deal because I think Qatar win the Asian Cup? South Africa, are they going to Group A? Because I'll be happy with that as a Korean. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I can see Korea moving to round of 16 with this. South Africa, Mexico, I can see that. Well happy. Well happy with this. I think it's top two with that's a great question. With some of the third place teams that have performed well in terms of like goal differences and points, I think, if I'm right. I might be wrong. That group looks good as well. Top two and the best. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Tony's right. Paraguay. C is interesting. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You just want. I think the countries that you want to avoid is Norway, Egypt, and Ivory Coast. Cote d'Ivoire. Wow, that's suddenly that group looks really hard. Suddenly, Group E looks really rough. D, I think, is an American. You're happy with that? Whoa. Yeah, D looks great. I think one thing that people might overlook is going to be the weather, right? It's going to be hot. It's going to be really hot, especially if you're playing somewhere like Kansas. It's going to be hot, right? Or in Mexico, like in Monterrey, or is it Mexico City, or even I forget which one's hotter, but it's going to be hot, right? So all these African teams or South American teams, they might really perform. European teams might struggle. G looks fairly interesting too. If Norway goes to Group I think that's the group of death. Or H. Yeah. If Norway goes to H or I think that's the group of death. Let's see. Jeez. Ian Clark just having a laugh. Spain, Uruguay, Scotland. I mean, what can you do? Just gotta laugh about it at that point. Oh, they're going to Group C. Sorry. Brazil, Morocco, Scotland. How fun! Brazil against Scotland. Now that would be the game I would love to go watch. Brazil, Scotland. Saudi Arabia. Spain, Uruguay, Saudi Arabia. Nice. Let's see. I just want to see where Norway ends up. I think wherever Norway goes, that's a group of death. Norway, Norway. Come on, give us Norway. Oh, Norway's gotta be left to the end. Uzbek. First time ever for a Central Asian country, Uzbekistan. Wow. All right, Norway. Where you gotta go? It's gotta be Group I. Otherwise, it's going to be 3 European nations in one group. Are they going to Panama going to Group I? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Panama going to Group L. I would say England are quite happy with that. Argentina must be happy with this as well. I think so. I think Argentina must be happy with this. Now, France, Senegal, Norway. That is group of death. Wow. Group I looks rough. Didier Deschamps. Yeah, exactly. Get Ghana in. But I don't think you can get another African nation in that group I, so it's gotta be from somewhere else. Yeah, yeah, true, Ray. So just looking at 3 teams in each group, who's the happiest? If you're part 1, who's the happiest? Brazil? I think USA would be quite happy. Argentina? Yeah, I could see that. Argentina, Austria. I could see that. Switzerland. Yeah. Qatar, Canada. Yeah. It looks fairly even, Group B, doesn't it? You know what we need from Switzerland? We need Shaqiri back for the World Cup, just for one more banger. Just one more belter, right? Okay, Jordan. Part 4, okay, Jordan. Ca- Cape Verde. Ghana. Everyone wants to avoid Ghana. Curacao. I think that these Caribbean countries like Haiti, Curacao, uh, Cape Verde, you wouldn't mind having them in your group. New Zealand, yeah, winner playoff A. So that could be Italy, Wales. Who else is there? Is it Ukraine as well? I think playoff B. Poland. I forget who's there. Turkey. Obviously, we'll find out. Denmark's there. Oh my God, Anthony! Thank you so much. It's wow, Anthony. Thank you so much. Need to roll out. Best of luck. I'll check it. We'll see you next time, Anthony. Yeah, thank you so much. Well, it was nice chatting with you, and I will see you soon. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day. Have a good weekend. Thank you so much. Bye, Anthony. Seriously. Thank you so much. Honestly, thank you so much. Ghana's scary. I think New Zealand with oh shoot, what was the striker's name? Forest. Wood. Chris Wood. If Chris Wood can fire again for the World Cup, would be interesting. I just find it interesting. Wayne Gretzky from Canada is here. Wayne Gretzky didn't know how to pronounce Macedonia or Macedonia, either one. That took a while there. Denmark, Macedonia, Czechia, Ireland. Happy with that. Again, very good, I think. Well happy. And with Canada, wow. I think that's fair. That's a fair group because you don't know who's gonna get out of that. It could be any two teams for Group B. It could be any two teams. I think if you're the playoff team, you don't want to get into Group C. Are they? Sorry, remind me. Are they the playoff as well, Romania? That shows that I don't have a clue, right? Haiti going to Group C, I think, or D. Group C. Brazil, Group C. Brazil, Morocco, Haiti, Scotland. I would say Brazil. I would love to see Brazil, Scotland go through. Group D. Curacao is going to Group D, I believe. Wow. Did you hear that? 156,000 is the population of Curacao, and they could fit in the what? Wow, is that Dick Advocat? I didn't know he was a manager for Curacao. He used to be the manager for Korea as well. Oh yeah, Romania against Turkey. I think they got a good chance. Honestly, I would love to see Romania. I would love to see Romania more than Turkey. Bolivia and Suriname. I didn't know Suriname was in it. Wow. I think just like, me not even knowing that Suriname's even in the World Cup, it shows that the 48 bigger format is obviously very interesting. But at the same time, you know, if I'm getting a ticket, I don't really want to go watch, Curacao against Ecuador, do I? The only worry is that will it dilute the level of competition or like what the World Cup is? And will it end at 48? Will it go to, bigger format? Cape Verde going to, let's see, Spain, going to Spain. So Spain, Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, Uruguay. That's pretty decent. I think US got a fantastic draw. USA, Paraguay should be able to beat Austria. They should be able to beat Group D. Jordan, Ghana, New Zealand, playoff team. I think considering Jordan, Ghana, New Zealand, you'll probably have as long as you avoid Ghana, I think the playoff teams are actually stronger. So with that said, I think the US have got a fantastic draw. So do Canada, really, and Mexico. Turkey, Romania, Slovakia, Kosovo. So where are they going then? Okay, there we go. You going into the USA group. Yeah, I think USA should be able to qualify or advance pretty comfortably. I think with the quality they've got. Ukraine, Sweden, Poland, Albania. Out of the four, I think I'd love to see either Sweden or Ukraine. Yeah, I agree. Turkey's definitely by far the stronger team out of compared to Slovakia and Kosovo, and they've got history for the World Cup as well. So, I mean, same with Romania, right? Got good history in terms of qualifying for the World Cup. But if I were to see Romania or Turkey, I'd love to see Romania. Jordan going to Group J. Oh, it's been that while. Wow, I didn't know. 1984. Does anybody in here know the Rod Stewart drawing for the FA Cup? They should do that. Get drunk and do one of those. Congo, Jamaica, New Caledonia. I didn't know they were in it. They're going to Group K. I'll say Portugal is happy with that. Portugal, Uzbekistan, Colombia, and the playoff team. Imagine that, right? If New Caledonia beats Portugal, imagine the odds of that, like 5,000 to 1, like when Leicester won the league. Kind of going to Group L, I think. Yeah, England, Croatia, Ghana, Panama. That can get tricky. It can sound easy, but that can get really tricky. Croatia is not the same. England should be able to beat Panama, Croatia, but Ghana, I would say Ghana might be the tricky one. Yeah, England should win the league, win the group, but I think it can get tricky. Just knowing England, right? It's going to be 1-0 grind. Yeah. Also with the proper number 9 as well. Belgium, Egypt, Iran, New Zealand. Interesting group. Nothing really standing out. Wow, so there's the group. There's the group stage. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll do a World Cup. What is it? Obviously, when we still got some time, 6 months or so. We'll do a World Cup bracket, and whoever wins it wins the prize. That should be a fun one. So when's the playoff game for Romania then? Wayne Gretzky. They could do FIFA tactics with Ghana, struggle with 1-0. Then. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Take a screen capture of that. Wow. Cote d'Ivoire. I think USA's happy, Canada's happy, Mexico's happy, Germany's happy. I'm just looking at the part 1 teams. Netherlands can get tricky. Belgium, it can get tricky. Spain should be happy with that. France, that could be a tricky one. Group I think, is the group of death. Argentina should be happy. Portugal, I think, should be happy. England should be happy. Let's see when the Romania's game is. Romania against Turkey. March 26th. We got some time. 3 months to go. I think so. I think, yeah. I think it's a good group. Let's see. Okay, let me share a screenshot. Oh, no, that screenshot's gone. World Cup group. Let me bring up that group again. Something in December is going to be the start of the sale again. Let me bring up my screen. Okay, let's take a look at. All right, let me bring on my pen. All right, so let's take a look at the group. Mexico's happy, Canada's happy, Brazil, Morocco, Scotland, Haiti. Brazil is happy. USA should be happy. I think Romania gets in there, or Turkey, but hopefully Romania. So USA, Australia, Paraguay, Romania. I think that's a pretty fair group. Germany, I think, should be happy, shouldn't have any problem. I always think these African countries can be a really tricky one. Netherlands, I think that's a really tough one, right? Especially with possibility of any of these three teams, really, any of these four teams, right? Belgium should be all right. I think it can be Belgium again, and Egypt. I'd love to see that. Spain, Uruguay must be able to advance. Should be no problem there. I think Group I is the death. I think that's the hardest one. Group I, France, Senegal. I just think it might be France and Norway. When you have such a good number 9, you just don't know, right? Group J, Argentina. I think Argentina, Austria should be able to qualify. But again, the weather's going to be hot, right? So I always think like Algeria is going to be the dark horse. Group K, Portugal shouldn't have much problem. Colombia, right? Yeah. That Group I is going to be rough. Group like L, England shouldn't have any problem. I think it's just a matter like 50-50 between Croatia and Ghana. So again, we're all basing this based on how the teams are performing now. Obviously, the injuries can happen. I think the moment, for example, at the moment, where are we? Harry Kane is gone through an injury. Like Trent's out already, I think. Not that he was going to be the starting right back, but if Harry Kane gets injured by any unfortunate event, England struggles. Right? Who are you going to have? Ollie Watkins is number 9, right? So obviously a good striker, but in the World Cup stage, I think Harry Kane's gone. That they're going to struggle. USA, it's going to be really important that Weston McKennie and Adams and Pulisic, hopefully they stay fit. But I still think they should be able to advance on the first place. Netherlands, can their back four really perform, right? Depay still as performing as the number 9. Is he going to be a good, right? Cole Palmer, that's a great shout as well. But again, I think Thomas Tuchel being the manager, I'm not sure if he's going to be that adventurous with that. Again, another thing is, obviously, this we're just talking about possibility, right? Not that he's already injured, Harry Kane. If Harry Kane is injured, that putting Cole Palmer will only be an idea that they're going to have to apply or practice if Harry Kane or when Harry Kane gets injured. Meaning, tactically, it's going to be a very short span of time for them to actually, make it sound. Do you get me? So they're going to have to go with a proper number 9 who's already been playing as a number 9, which Cole Palmer necessarily is not a through and through number 9. But yeah, I think it's a good group. I think nothing really stands out except for Group I. Yeah, so it's good. Very, very good. Really looking forward to it. I think the another ticket goes on sale December something. I forget when that is. So hopefully we get some tickets, right? But there we go. All right. So yeah, first time going live in a very, very long time. I think the very last one I did was like July. So like 5 months ago, right? They could try to fast recover Kane and maybe, just maybe. Yeah, I mean, again, we're talking about a striker that's fully fit right now. But you never know. Brazil with Neymar as well. He's still playing with his meniscus being hurt. So that's another one. So will Neymar play? You know what I mean? That's a huge question as well. will Musiala be back for Germany? That's a big one, right? So what will Germany look like? So all these questions, I think, come March by the playoff time. I think we find out. Yeah, we find out. Yeah, exactly. Musiala is key for Germany. Take a look at the last World Cup. Look at how he's performed. Huge. And then when it comes to Bellingham as well, is he going to be a standout English player? Because there's been some, lots of scrutiny and media around him trying to bring him down. Ian Wright saying, that the country is not ready for a black superstar. I think he's onto something. So, yeah. But either way, we'll find out come February and March, see if anyone's injured around that time. So, yeah, exactly. With Toni Kroos out, Musiala, Germany might have to adjust the way they would adjust the way they play. Same with Spain. Look how Spain adjusted the way they play in the Euros, right? It used to be the whole beautiful tiki-taka, but now it's get the ball out to the wingers and you attack with Yamal and Williams, right? So teams change, culture changes, ideas come and go. So the way we'll find out. So I hope you enjoyed the live. Really looking forward to the next one. Hopefully I'll be back for the Prem games. Yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye guys. Enjoy.